Good morning, folks. My name is Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if there's probable cause for those charges. Probable cause simply means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person who's committed that crime. Of course, as you stand before me this morning, I presume that you're innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings unless and until the State Attorney's Office is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release this morning, that is your bail or bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already, pursuant to the bond schedule here in the 5th Judicial Circuit, or the warrant which led to your arrest. I'll determine if that bond should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I'll gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know. I'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. I now need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. Y'all solemnly swear or affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Margarita Ayala Aponte. Morning, ma'am. What's your date of birth?
Morning. 9/14/77.
And the charge is battery being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, if you wish to represent yourself, you're going to hire a private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, state.
A 99 grand theft adjudication withheld, utter forged instrument adjudication withheld in 99 on the Hillsborough County, adjudication withheld in 98 for petty theft on a Temple Terrace. That's all, Your Honor.
Okay. And, ma'am, I have an address for you on Tuscany Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Correct.
How long have you lived there?
2 months.
Okay.
August.
Okay. And it's my understanding that Destin was staying there temporarily. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
I do. He does not.
Okay. What do you do?
Oh, I'm a licensed optician at Walmart.
Okay.
I've been there for 4 years.
Okay. Very good. I'm going to set your bond at $10. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Destin. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't contact him through any social media. Don't go where he lives, don't go where he works, don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting him, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and I find out about it, your bond can be revoked and you can be held without bond until the charge is resolved. It needs no contact even if he wants the contact, so if you answer your phone and hear his voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see him, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that he cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision he's allowed to make. He may go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. He may tell them he's not interested in pursuing this matter. But that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney who's handling your case. So unless that person or the judge on your case tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped and you should not have contact. I'll have you back in court on the 5th of December. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, all right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sherry Van Blarkum. Morning, ma'am. What's your date of birth?
October 13/72.
Sherry, this is a felony retail theft. There's probable cause for the charge. As to the charge, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the public defender. State what you tell me.
Showing a retail grand theft in 2013. It looks like prison time was in place there in Hernando County. A failure to appear out of Hernando County in 2010. a probation violation reference out of Pasco County in 2010, obtaining controlled substance by fraud, adjudication of guilt in 2009, as well as obtaining controlled substance by fraud. There was a multiple of those counts, disposition guilty to where it looked like state prison time was the sentence, and that would be her history, Your Honor.
Okay. Sherry, I have an address for you on Little Ranch Road in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
No, it's in Pasco County.
Well, Little Ranch is in Pasco County. What's your address?
15631 Little Ranch Road.
Okay. Yeah, they call that south of the line. They still call that Spring Hill.
Okay.
All right. You got a job these days?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll set your bond at $1,000. I'm going to have you back in court on the 27th of November. Very important that you contact the public defender if you get out, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
I haven't spoken to anybody.
Sure, go ahead.
I haven't been able to call anybody yet.
Who would you like to call, Sherry?
My brother or my landlord?
Does that person have a name?
Dave Davis.
And what's the phone number?
727-856-0355.
They'll let you make that call, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. Alan Balsick? Morning, Alan. What's your date of birth?
October 8th, 1999.
Alan, I've got a possession of marijuana, operating an unregistered vehicle, a petty theft, and it appears that you're currently on misdemeanor probation for me. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So I have probable cause arrest for the VOP, probable cause for all of these charges. As to these charges, you want to represent yourself and hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'm going to appoint the PD in all of these cases. As to the marijuana and the unregistered motor vehicle, I'll leave those at $1,000 each. Those are coming back on the 5th of December. As to the petty theft, I will leave that at $500. Appoint the public defender. That's also coming back on the 5th of December. And then as to the PC arrest for the violations of probation, the bond on that, of course, will be no bond. Also appoint the public defender, also coming back on the 5th of December, so you'll be at the jail at least until the 5th. Public defender is going to come see you before then, and we'll see where we go first week of December, all right? Thank you. Eli Carroll? Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
7684.
Charges domestic battery, aggravated battery on a pregnant person. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
Adjudication of guilt for a DUI on a Sumter County in 2017, a probation violation reference on a Sumter in 2011, as well as 2008, a disposition guilty for a violation of injunction for protection in 2008, adjudication of guilt, and a battery in 2008, adjudication of guilt. A possession of paraphernalia, 2003, adjudication of guilt. Marijuana, adjudication of guilt, 03. Criminal mischief, 03, adjudication of guilt. Battery, that was dropped in 2003 on a Sumter.
And Eli, I have an address for you on Forbes Street in Nobleton. Is that where you live?
Yes,
How long have you been there?
sir. 10 years off and on, sir.
Okay. And does Miss Holcomb live there as well?
Sir?
Does Miss Holcomb live there? Tamsa?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Do you have a job these days?
I did.
What were you doing?
Superintendent for Waycrest Masonry out of Inverness.
All right. Set your bond at $5,000. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Tamsa. Did you hear me explain no contact a moment ago?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Also have to hold you up until 4 p.m. so that if she wanted to serve you with a civil injunction, we'd know where to find you if you get the civil injunction. Doubly important that you not have contact, because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. As far as the address on Forbes Street goes, as long as she stays there, you'll have to stay somewhere else until we get this case resolved. You can go by one time to collect your things, your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need for wherever you plan to stay. To do that, however, you must contact the sheriff's office first. They'll meet you there with a deputy who will stand by while you get your things and get going where you're going. I have you back in court on the 27th of November. Very important that you contact the Public Defender's Office if you get out, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Nelson Cortez. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
3377.
Nelson, I have a warrant for you out of Sumter County. The judge that signed the warrant found probable cause for a violation of probation and set your bond at no bond. I can't change that. We'll let the good folks of Sumter County know that you're here and ready to go. I'll give them 5 days to come get you. It doesn't take 5 with Sumter, but if for some strange reason you're still here in 5, they'll bring you back to see me, and I'll find out what the holdup is, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Jamie Mendez. Jamie, what's your date of birth?
4/18/93.
Jamie, I have 2 issues today. First is possession of marijuana. There's probable cause for that charge, and it appears you're currently on felony probation. Is that correct?
Yep.
And probable cause arrest for the VOP. So there's probable cause for both charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
What?
You want the
Yeah.
public defender, Jamie?
Yeah.
There you go.
I think the box may be
It's Pasco. I'll appoint the public defender on the marijuana charge. I'll leave the bond on that at $1,000. That's coming back on the 5th of December. On the Pasco case, the VOP, the bond, of course, is no bond. How it works, Jamie, is if you're able to post the bond on your local charge, then Pasco will be notified that you're here and ready to go, and from that point they'd have 5 days to come get you. It wouldn't take 5, but if you were still here after posting your local bond, in 5 days they'd bring you back to see me. If you can't post the bond on the local charge, you'll stay here until it is resolved, and then you go to Pasco County. If you're still here, the public defender will come see you at the jail before you go to court, okay? Thank you. Harold Miller. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
2969.
Harold, the charge is battery being domestic in nature. It looks as a second or subsequent. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
I may speak private counsel later, sir, but right now, public defender.
I'll appoint the public defender for right now. State what can you tell me?
Refusal to submit adjudication of guilt in 2012, as well as the leaving the scene of the accident with property damage in 2012, adjudication of guilt at Willis, where he spent some 83 days, it looks like, in Hernando County Jail, adjudication of guilt, DUI fourth or subsequent, 2012, adjudication of guilt, disposition guilty for a battery. It looks like he had a suspended sentence of 11 months and 29 days. Purchase of cocaine in 2006, adjudication of guilt. A reckless driving, adjudication of guilt. And a Willis, adjudication of guilt. And a flea attempting to elude in 2005. Of Hernando, a battery, domestic in nature, 2003, adjudication of guilt. And Hernando, a battery, adjudication withheld for battery in 2002. Dropped of assault in Seminole County in 2002. A charge for probation violation. And disposition guilty for Willis in 2000. Disposition guilty for reckless driving in 2000. Now in Seminole.
That's probably good.
Thank you.
Mr. Miller, I got an address for you on Albany Road in Weequahic. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
A month.
All right. And Faith lives there as well?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir. I just had surgery on cervical spine surgery on my neck, but I'm getting well now. I'm getting ready to go back to work.
What sort of work do you normally do?
I build swimming pools and homes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to set your bond at $2,500. Condition is that you have no contact with Faith. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand it?
Yes, sir.
Also have to hold you up until 4 p.m. So if she wants to serve you with an injunction, we know where to find you. As far as the address on Albany Road goes, you can go by one time to collect your things, your clothes, your toothbrush, but you must contact the sheriff's office first. I have you back in court on the 27th of November. Make sure you contact the public defender as soon as you get out, all right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Joshua Merwin. Morning, Josh. What's your date of birth?
5/27/1989.
Josh, I have 4 charges this morning: possession of controlled substance, possession of marijuana, possession or tampering with evidence, and resisting without violence. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender? I'll appoint the PD. And then it appears that Joshua has a couple of open cases.
Yes, Your Honor. He has 18 CF 1834, which was the date of offense, August 20th, and 18 CF 1627, and that was August 1st, 2018.
So he's in court today.
He bonded on September 19th. The state would ask to revoke his bond.
Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do, Joshua. On the 4 charges this morning, I'll leave the bonds for the schedule, which is $2,000 on the controlled substance, $1,000 on the marijuana, $2,000 on the tampering, $1,000 on the resisting. That's a total of 6. I guess I'll go ahead and send these upstairs this morning so that we can get your cases synced up. Today is what's today? 5th of November?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know. But then, with your other cases, the ones that are on the dock with Judge Toner today, job 1 when you're out on bond, Josh, just don't pick up new charges. It appears to me that you have. Therefore, pursuant to Florida Statute 903.0471, I'm going to revoke your pretrial release in 18 CF 1627 and 18 CF 1834. So you'd be on no bond on those charges. Judge Toner can reestablish your bonds in those cases this morning if he's a mind to. But that'll have to happen upstairs. Be sure when you see whoever your lawyer is upstairs this morning that you mention to them that you were at first appearance this morning and got new charges and that I revoked your bonds in your old cases, okay?
Yes, sir. What time was my court today?
Well, you're already late, but that's not your fault because you're in custody. So you'll get a pass on that. They'll get you down here as quick as they can, all right? Thank you. FDA. I'll just be cruel. Destin Neal. Want to sir, what's your date of birth?
1.65.
Destin, the charge is criminal mischief. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the public defender. State what can you tell me?
2017, disposition guilty in Hernando County for criminal mischief. Grand theft in 2017, disposition guilty out of Hernando County.
Okay. Destin, you got a job these days?
Yes, I actually just came from an interview yesterday with my dad. I just got the job yesterday.
Doing what?
$70.
Okay. I'm going to set your bond at $1,000. I'm going to have you back in court on the 5th of December. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. Todd Reed. Want to, sir, what's your date of birth?
July 24th, 1988.
Todd, I got 2 charges today. I've got a leaving the scene of an accident and driving on a suspended license. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll appoint the PD, and it looks like he's got open felony as well. Is that right, States?
Yes, Your Honor. It is 18 CF 1911, which has an outstanding KPS for FDA.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Do you know what the bond on the KBS is?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Can you see that? don't know why that didn't get found. Right. Okay. Okay. On these, Todd, I'm going to leave the bond per the schedule, which is $500 on each charge. These will be back the 5th of December. If you go to bond out, they're going to check and find out that there's a fail to appear warrant for you floating around out there from Friday. So they'll serve that on you. The bond on that, just so you know, is $5,000. But that's another issue. On these misdemeanors, you'll be back on the 5th of December. If you get out, make sure you contact the public defender, okay?
All right, so if I pay the bond on the warrant, will I still have a warrant?
Well, what's going to happen, I suspect, is later this morning they're going to serve the FDA warrant on you. So your bond on these new charges is $1,000. The bond on the FDA is $5,000. If you post everything, you'll have new court dates and you'll be out again. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Jeffrey George.
Yes, sir.
Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
11/1/55.
All right, Jeffrey, got 2 counts today. I got a DUI and DUI with property damage. There's probable cause, 2 counts of DUI with property damage, so it's 3 counts total. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those, I'll explain it to you in a second, Jeff. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself, you want to hire a private counsel, would you like the public defender?
Well, for now, let me have the public defender. I'm going to
Okay.
change it.
Okay, so what happens, Jeff, when they're alleging that there's a crash with a DUI, is they charge you with regular DUI, which they did, and then they charge you with DUI property damage for everything that they think got damaged. I will tell you that if you wind up entering a plea in your case, you'll just be pleading to 1 count, but that's how they charge it, okay?
Yeah, because I know if anything tore up with my car.
Well, and that, like I said, you're going to talk to the lawyer, and they're going to work that all out, and we'll get to the bottom of it. I know it seems strange as you're standing here this morning, but it's standard procedure, and you won't be pleading to 3 DUIs. I can almost guarantee it because your judge is going to be me. So we'll get it worked out. All right. Then, Jeff, let's see. I have an address for you on Hunter Trail in Lakeland. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
40 years.
All right. You have a job these days?
Yeah, I'm self-employed. I have a store. I sell salt for water conditioners.
Okay. We're going to set your bond on the DUI at $500 on the first count of DUI, property damage at $500 on the second one at ROR, so your total's $1,000. I'll have you back in court on the 5th of December. Very important that you contact the public defender when you get out, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else at the jail? Take that as a no. All right, thanks.